When printing with ICC profiles from Adobe Photoshop, it is useful to set up colour controls to fit with the work that you produce most often. You can access this window through Edit and then selecting Colour Settings. The Europe Pre-Press 3 preset with the Conversion Options Intent set to Perceptual works well for me. As the standard Conversion Options Intent in Europe Pre-Press 3 is Relative Colorimetric, this means Photoshop views my setup as a custom setting. How you set up the working space options on the colour editing screen will vary depending on how you use Photoshop. However, whatever colour options you choose, it is always helpful to turn on the Profile, Mismatch and Missing Profile options. Simply tick the box next to these descriptions to turn them on. This will tell you if the file you are opening has a different profile to the ones that you've set up as your working space. Once you know what colour settings you are using to view files in Photoshop, you can begin to get the most out of working with profiles. In this video, I'm working with a stock image. I have no idea what the original scene looked like when it was photographed, so all I can do is match my print to what I see on the screen. To begin working with the profiles you have saved on your computer, go to View, Proof Setup and select Custom. This will open a window where you can select the profile for the printer and paper combination you'll be using for your print. I'm going to be printing this image on a Nova Ultra Smooth Gloss using a Canon Pixma Pro 1. When you open the list of profiles, you'll see every profile on your system that Photoshop can access. This includes all the standard profiles installed on your computer, as well as all the profiles associated with media settings on any printers you have installed. You will also see all the profiles that you have downloaded and saved to your Profiles folder. Once you've located the profile you want to use, simply click on it to select it. You will then need to select the rendering intent and decide if Simulate Paper Color is useful for your particular workflow. Personally, I find that the Simulate Paper Color option does not really have an impact on the final print when I'm working on my laptop, which has a glossy screen. However, it's worth experimenting with a couple of prints to see if it works for you, as I know some people who find that having Simulate Paper Color turned on helps them in their editing process and produces a more accurate print. When you have finished setting up your customised proof view, select OK. Photoshop will apply this view to your image. You can check this by looking at the wording in the brackets after the file name, or by making sure there is a check mark next to the Proof Colours option in the View menu drop-down. To get an idea of how many colours in my image can be accurately reproduced by my printer, I turn on the gamut warning in the View menu. Anything that changes to grey will be matched by the printer, depending on what rendering intent option was selected when setting up the proof view. If large parts of your image are greyed out, you may want to edit these areas to bring the colours back into a range that the printer can reproduce accurately. You can do this by using a Hue Saturation Adjustment layer. Apply the Hue Saturation Adjustment layer, lower the saturation level so the majority of the grey area disappears, and then invert the layer mask to reveal the grey again. Paint over the grey areas with a soft brush at a low opacity to blend the colours in with the rest of the image. Once you have edited your image, you can print the image using the same profile you use for the editing process. Remember, each printer and paper combination is different, so if you have an image that you produce on multiple papers, the image may need slightly different edits for each paper type. Here you can see the effects on this image when using different proof views. For the ones using profiles, I would only edit the areas out of the printer gamut. However, if I had a semi-gloss paper that did not have a profile for my particular printer, then I would need to print using a standard media setting. In this case, Photo Paper plus Semi-Gloss on the Canon Pixma Pro 1. When this profile is assigned to the proof view, I can see that there is a slight difference in the shade of yellow on the girl's dress, so I might have to do some colour corrections to get an accurate print with that setup.